So, Coach, how many drafts have you been to, and do you have any kind of funny stories?
I haven't been to a lot of them. I've been to a handful. I think more than anything else, it's supporting your players the best you can, whether you're doing it leading up to the draft or physically being here. With having the potential for 3 first-rounders, you want to be here. In terms of funny stories with the draft, I think it's always about, more than anything else, the different kind of misinformation that you have to deal with, and the questions that you're asked that sometimes by the time you get to the draft, they've taken on a life of their own, and they're almost comical. And every year it's the same thing. Jayden Daniels, does this or he does that, and they're just so far from being truthful. But it's the misinformation of the draft that becomes comical at this point. So you're really waiting to just get this thing over with. That to me is the nature of the draft.
I can agree with that. What's like the weirdest question about Jayden or whoever from this year?
A couple of times I've been asked about, is his, what's his love for football? He seems to do a lot of things outside of football. I'm like, the guy was the hardest working player we had on our football team. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. So again, it's a lot of guys just have so much time. Look, if they critiqued us coming out of college the way they critique these guys, we would never stand up to the scrutiny. And these guys have done just a phenomenal job of standing up to the scrutiny.
Yeah, the rookie in the shreds, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen the thing about Jayden's elbow or whatever they're doing?
Another thing that is really really much ado about nothing. It was just some inflammation that was not even part of his throwing mechanics, but again, had been vetted out, played with it, not even a story.
Weird. Yeah, those guys make us look bad.
Yeah.
Because we're all kind of lumped together, I guess. But all right, so I had a funny one for you. Travis Scott, I know, visited you guys recently.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite songs of his?
I think the thing that I talked to our team about was I had to present to our team that we had somebody coming on campus, but I couldn't tell them who it was. So I said, listen, this guy really gives me goosebumps. And they kind of understood what I was talking about there, and with the lead of that song, I think they figured out who it was, because we couldn't announce it too soon, because it was obviously a limited edition kind of tour that he was on. But we had a good time with it, and our guys enjoyed it.
Seems like he did. Malik was rocking the hat, Cactus Jack hat yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Down to business though, you could have 3 first-round picks in this draft. That's only happened at LSU 4 times ever. What does that say about this kind of rare crop of talent?
Well, again, I think it speaks to the player development. I think it speaks to the brand recognition. When people talk about coming to LSU, what their expectations are is the opportunity to play for championships, but also when they're done, have an opportunity to move on to the NFL. And right now we're in a position now to talk about Heisman Trophy winners, 2 in the last 4 years, and then #1 draft picks. I think there was 5 in 19. Now you got a chance to have 3 in 23, 24. That's pretty impressive. That's putting yourself in an elite class, and that's what you should recognize when you come to LSU.
2 first-round receivers as well. I know it was in the email he sent out. 2 in the first rounds only happened once, 2007. What makes Brian and Malik just can't-miss guys?
Well, Malik is somebody that can do a little bit of everything. He can play in the slot, he can play outside, defeat one-on-one coverage with his speed down the field, but also I think everybody's talked about his elusiveness, run after the catch, and he's an ultra competitor. Brian Thomas, I think, is just starting to scratch the surface in terms of what he can be. But again, everyone talks about his ability to run the 9 route, but he's much more than that. He's elusive after the catch. He's very difficult to get down on the ground, and he can make the difficult catches in the air. So again, 2 elite receivers, a little bit different in terms of what they bring, but both of them are great matchup receivers.
And then with Jayden, I feel like he wasn't really on many people's big draft boards at this time last year. Then he wins the Heisman. It was, arguably the best quarterback in the country. Is that one of the more meteoric rises you've ever seen?
It was a big jump. I mean, we just look back on it in his first year against Auburn. I remember coming back on the plane from Auburn and telling our staff, look, 75 yards by Jayden throwing the football is not going to cut it. And since that day, he went to work, as well as the staff. He went to work on his development. And so a lot of this is a great story because this was an individual who recognized his own weaknesses and went to work on developing him. And that's why he sits where he is right now as one of the top quarterbacks in the draft.
What were some of those weaknesses?
I think really being decisive. He knew what he saw, but really wasn't decisive enough. I think trusting himself and then feeling a lot more comfortable within the offense as he did, he became more decisive. And as that came together, I think decision-making followed.
Why do you think he'll succeed in the pros?
Because he's got all the things that get you out of trouble. You know, the NFL is one where, you know, the play call is one thing. It's what you do after that play call breaks down. His ability to show patience when necessary in the pocket or get out on the perimeter. His ability to throw off platform or, you know, not in the traditional drop. He's the best in the draft in throwing on the move. And those kinds of throws are going to be needed to be successful in keeping drives alive and picking up third downs. That's why he's going to be successful, because he can get plan B into first downs and touchdowns, and that's important in any league.
And I want to leave out the other guys too, Mason, Mackay,
Sure.
Omar. What do you think about those guys, what they can provide?
I think it's pretty deep in terms of guys that are going to be able to play on Sunday. You know, you talk about Mason, and you talk about Jordan Jefferson, Mackay Wingo. There's three linemen that are going to get drafted for sure. Charles Turner, I think, at the offensive center position is a guy that's going to get a chance to get drafted. You mentioned a number of guys. I think we'll have as many as 10 guys have a chance to get drafted, and there's going to be a number of free agents as well. I think at the end of the day, we spend all the time on the three number ones, and deservedly so. But I think we're going to have a number of guys that played for us last year. They're going to be in the NFL next year.
Yeah, don't want to forget about them. And then yesterday I asked Jayden a question, and he said LSU is sports U right now. The gymnastics winning the title, women's basketball, baseball. You guys having great seasons. Seems like Baton Rouge is the place to be.
Look, I mean, in terms of brand recognition right now, LSU has a very, very strong recognition, not only just regionally, but nationally. When you mention LSU, you're talking about championships, and, that goes across the board. It's not just football, it's all the sports, and I think when people recognize that and see that, they want to be part of it. And the brand recognition is important as well, and, we have so many of our athletes now that have taken that and turned that into a strong brand, and I think the student athletes out there recognize that.
Are you and Jay Clark close? You guys having?
Oh yeah, we are. We text quite a bit, and throughout the season, I was really happy for him and what he's been able to last year, enduring all the injuries and going through a very difficult time and keeping that team together, and then going out and recruiting the depth on this team. It was an incredible run, and the way they won it, right? They went in on the balance beam, the toughest of the rotations. Really, really proud of their accomplishments.